Can we earn more money by doing like not so great things? Yeah, we certainly can. But is that the right thing? Absolutely not. Again, it's not about the money.
You keep doing that, and acting that way, you're not going to have a business, right? You can't have a business by yourself. You need customers. I am Ladero Hart.
And I'm Dmitriy Hanuka.
How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good. Excited for our first podcast, finally.
First podcast, finally. We're going to have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We're going to have some really, really good, engaging conversations. We're going to have some thought-provoking conversations, maybe a little bit of controversial stuff. I know that's kind of right up your alley.
For sure. We're going to debate just about everything there is.
Everything there is. I mean, we're talking about real estate. We're going to get into real estate photography, real estate marketing, drones. We're going to talk about website development. We're going to talk about the ins and outs of business. We're going to talk about, I think we're even going to get into some religion. You know, how do you balance, having a spiritual life in a business setting?
For sure. We're going to even try to throw in some jokes in there too.
We're going to try to throw in some jokes. But I think it's the jokes are going to naturally happen. I think when we try to make a joke, that's when it's not funny. But I know
quite a few good jokes. They'll be funny just by default.
Dimitri's funny because he, like you have a way of being funny. You don't even try to be funny. You're just kind of like naturally chill funny.
Good.
It's pretty cool. I just made a really cool transition in my life, and my family have just gone through, or not have just gone through. We're still going through a conversion process to Judaism, and it's been a journey. It's been an incredible journey. As a matter of fact, my wife and I started a podcast, a YouTube channel, almost a year ago. So November it'll be a year, and it's been incredible. It's been an insane ride, but I'm sharing that because part of that transition is coming here now, and now being a part of the 3D Media family, and I'm so grateful. I just wanted to make sure that I started that by saying how grateful I am for you and for the 3D Media family for believing in me and for giving me an opportunity to come on board and to help out and do social media marketing and all those different things. And I'm so happy to be here.
Well, I'm grateful you're here. I think it was a natural fit. I think all the skills that you've built with your social media channel and promoting yourself and promoting Judaism, it's just it's very difficult to promote religion. Let's start with that.
Yeah.
If you know how to promote religion, I think you can promote just about anything else if you believe in it. I think that's the critical factor. And I try to do the same thing. I try to only promote clients and services that I truly believe in. I think that's a very important factor.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And have people I believe in as well. So I do believe in you, and I'm very grateful you're part of the team.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here. So let's talk a little bit about 3D Media. Let's talk about 3D Media. Let's just start off with the first question is just, what is 3D Media? Who is 3D Media? Let's start there.
Well, it's a tough question because it's kind of evolved over the years. It started off with me trying to find my footing on my own after having a job for a few years, being like a director of product management in a corporation with all the corporate politics. And definitely I was not feeling that type of environment. And as soon as the opportunity came about to start my own thing, I did. I jumped on the opportunity of doing virtual tours. And initially the company was actually called 3D Realty, not 3D Media. It was specifically, I thought, 3D tours for realtors. The problem with that name was people kept thinking it's some kind of a brokerage or realty company.
That makes sense.
And I wanted to be far beyond that. And as I started with the 3D tours, eventually I realized, 3D tours are not enough. As great as they were back in the day, a lot of people didn't get them. I think I've actually done quite a bit in the industry to promote the 3D tours. When I started, not too many companies were doing it. and it was very difficult to convince realtors to try it. Nowadays, it's become commonplace, especially after COVID. So I started with 3D tours, and then it was like low barrier to entry, so to speak. I really love the technology. Just like I said earlier, if I believe in something, I'll go head in.
Yep.
I'll dive in all the way, and in that case, I loved it. I saw the potential right from the get-go that I was going to go big. Unfortunately, I didn't have the resources, let's say, to grab the national market share at the time. I was just on my own with pretty much bought the camera on my credit card with no savings. It was kind of winging it in the best way possible. My wife was pregnant at the time with our second baby, and we had one baby already, one young child. So let's just say it was not easy start. It was very difficult. Yeah. It was difficult financially. It was difficult psychologically. There was just very little time. I was like under the gun. I had to make things work. Yeah. And it just, the Matterport technology that I started with, it just seemed to be like a perfect fit. I saw a few ads on Facebook. I saw again the potential. I'm very good at selling. I thought, I can sell this. And this is definitely needed. And I think part of the selling process is it's not really the selling, it's educating people that there's something out there that they need. Yeah. And that's what I decided to do. I learned it well enough. Actually, within, I think, the first year, one of the tours that I've done was so good that Matterport itself nominated me for Best of the Year award.
Nice. Okay.
So again, when I start something, I try to learn it through and through, and I figured it out more than anybody else did. And then I was educating agents. I was going through a lot of offices, realtor brokerages, and educating people on the technology. I had a lot of pushback, especially within this industry. There are a lot of older people, a lot of baby boomers, and they're like very hard to convince and try new technology.
Okay, that makes sense.
Very tough. But like I said, I was under the gun. I had no choice. There was no giving up. In fact, I'd say I got a little bit lucky in the beginning. The fact that, first of all, I have to give credit where credit is due. My brother-in-law, he lives in Vienna, in Austria. And when I told him about what I'm getting into, he supported me right away. He's like, Beautiful. That's a great idea.
Beautiful.
Always great to hear that validation. And not only that, he was doing development at the time of homes for sale, and it was he recognized that that this would be cool to promote some of the properties. So he invited me to fly over there. I didn't really make much money on the trip. Just it was great to do something. He covered the cost for me to go out there and try it out on some of the buildings that he's built. And I've learned how to use the camera and the tools kind of on the job, and had a little vacation here while I was and my wife to the in-laws with the baby. And coming back, I already kind of knew what I was doing. And then the moment I picked up the phone, the very first phone call, I made the sale.
Your first call?
First call.
Dang. Now, is that like, do you think that's like a luck thing, or do you think like that was some type of, divine orchestration? You know what I mean? Or?
Well, Jews don't believe in luck, and I follow Judaism quite closely. We have a concept called Hashgacha Pratit. It's what's meant to be is going to happen, and I realized I put myself in the right path, and God was watching over me, and that was very encouraging. I've done cold calls before, and to get a sale on the very first phone call, let's just say that's unlikely.
Sure.
I wouldn't say miraculous, but that's very unlikely to happen for many factors. First of all, reaching the person on the first call is not easy. Usually you get in the answering machine, people are busy, they're not in the mood to talk. There's like 1,000 different factors for them to say no. They won't even listen sometimes to what you have to pitch. But in that particular moment, everything, the universe aligned itself. I called the right person at the right time, made the sale. It wasn't a big sale. I didn't make much money. I think at the time it was like, I was so grateful I got a sale for $100.
Yeah.
That's it. And then oddly enough, actually, the third phone call, I got a sale as well. Third or fourth, I don't remember. It took me not a lot to get the second one. If I'm not mistaken, it's been some years now. But the second one, I had some challenges. I went there, it was in Laguna Beach. It was a beautiful house. That was also encouraging. Like, I've never... I've been living in basic apartments for the last 20 years living in America.
Yeah.
Never had really great accommodations, let's put it this way. And then walking into a beautiful home in Laguna Beach was, wow, this is cool. That's my new job. Beats sitting in the office all day long.
Yeah, sure. So I'm sure that really gave you the confidence, gave you the encouragement. It was like, okay, I can do this thing.
For sure. However, not everything is smooth.
Mm-hmm.
I finished the job. Took me a while. I finished. Again, I didn't make much money, but I was super happy that I got the job. It was like that job, I think I charged $150. It was a big house in Laguna Beach. I would never charge the same today. It would be double or triple or quadruple, depending on, I don't remember what the size was. Definitely was kind of working at cost almost. But I was backing up, and Laguna Beach is all like mountains and hills. And I'm looking behind my shoulder. I'm looking in the mirrors. Nothing, clear path. And then, boom, I back into a car.
Oh, no.
The neighbor pulled out, and just the way the driveway was, there was absolutely no way to see them. And then that was my second job. So I'm making so far $250, $100 on my first job, $250 on my second. I'm already in debt because I kind of left my first job with not much money at all, and I bought the equipment on a credit card. So now I realize this is going to cost me, and it did. It was like a $3,000 increase. The way I calculated, it cost me about $3,000 and the increase of the insurance. But then I thought, if God's showing me that He's with me, giving me jobs, then somehow I had to pay this price, and it's going to work out. And then it didn't work out that smoothly after that, because the third sale took me a while to get. It was like 2 weeks of phone calls, and I wasn't getting through to anybody.
Yeah.
And I was like almost giving up at that point. So I went from going super easy, like getting sales right away, to just struggling. And now I'm in the big minus all of a sudden.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, hey, I'm running out of time, and I'm praying more intensely. I'm like, God, you already gave me a success the first time, second time, come on, give me another break. And sure enough, right away, I get another sale. This time, however, it wasn't as easy, because first two were I sold the service I was comfortable with, which was Matterport 3D Tour. On the third sale, she's like, well, I'm only going to let you try to do this if you can cover my regular needs, which is photography and the video. Because otherwise, I have my photographer that I'm used to. He'll do everything.
So what'd you do?
He didn't do the 3D. I said, you know what? I'll take care of it.
Okay.
Never say no to anybody.
So wait, did you have these skill sets already?
No.
So you okay, let's just do it. I'm gonna just figure it out on the way down.
I'll figure it out. I scheduled it like a week or two in advance. I thought I have a little bit of time to figure it out.
Let me just go on YouTube real quick and learn some things.
This was, I think, before YouTube had the tutorials. There weren't too many tutorials.
Well, so that's even more respect, though. You're right. You didn't have the tutorials, so so how'd you figure this stuff out?
Trial and error.
Okay.
I went and got a drone, and I learned to fly it right on the spot. It was like very scared. I was sweating flying it. I went and I passed the part 107 within that 1 week period of time. I learned the thing. There was a YouTube tutorial, great YouTube tutorial on passing the pilot's test for part 107.
So they had that on YouTube.
That they had. I learned in 1 day. I went and passed it. That, thank God, I'm not that great at tests, but that one I passed. And then I had background in photography. I just never shot real estate before. And it's not easy to shoot real estate. It's much, once you figure it out, it's easy.
Yeah.
But to figure it out, it's not common sense. There's a lot of factors about just composition, about the right settings to get the lighting right. And a lot of photographers fail, even the ones that do portrait photography all their life. They can't figure out how to shoot a room. Even though, again, once you figure it out, it's boom, it's just peanuts.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question, Dmitry. If we can maybe back up a little bit, when you first had this idea, you said you took out money, right? That you took out. Was it a loan that you took out?
Just had a credit card with a credit line to buy stuff.
So when you had this idea and you were making this decision, I know as a married man, you don't just make a decision to say this is what we got to do, right? There's some conversations that's probably being held in the household, right? So how did your wife feel about this idea, this dream at that moment?
I think she saw me struggle through my last job.
Yeah.
And she knew that she knows me pretty well. She can sense what's good for me and what's not good for me. And I'm glad you brought that point up, because for sure throughout the whole process, she was a great cheerleader.
Love that.
If she would have at any point given me any pushback, I would have stopped for sure.
Sure, yeah.
But she supported me. Like, she saw that even though I'm not making money in the beginning, even though I'm having all these challenges, more or less I was enjoying the journey. Like, I knew that things are not in somebody else's control. It's in my hands and in God's hands. Yeah. There's nobody to interfere.
Right.
When I was at my last job, no matter how hard I tried and how well I performed, there's a corporate ladder. And it's hard to just push through that ladder, because I think corporations in general in America are very poorly structured. Mm-hmm. There is no reward for success. There is reward for being, what's the right word? Making yourself look good.
Okay, what do you mean by that? I think you just opened up some worms, so we gotta dive into this real quick.
Yeah. I don't want to go into details about my previous job, because that would potentially imply negative things about certain people, sure, which I never want to do.
Generally speaking,
I think in most of the corporations, in that corporate ladder, it's the incentive is not on individual performance or even on team performance. It's the person just needs to make himself look good and do sometimes nasty things to jump over somebody else.
Got it.
There's a lot of negative speech that's involved. I know there were some people in my company that shall remain nameless that said really bad things about just about everybody to get promoted.
Got it.
When you have a corporation that's inefficient and rewards this kind of behavior, there's going to be constant turnover and people backstabbing each other all the time. And when you're genuinely trying to do good, it goes unnoticed, or sometimes even if the right person doesn't see it, that has that kind of overlooking the whole company, then it's not going to benefit you.
One thing that really attracted me to this company was, yes, your company has been very, very successful, which is awesome. But also, as I've been able to have a chance to meet all the people that work for 3D Media, they all seem to be amazing people. And me and my wife always have conversations like this when it comes to companies and corporations. It's like, whenever you meet the workers and they're all happy and wonderful people, it starts from the top down. And so that, the success of your company, the success of the people who work for you is also is a reflection of you. And that's something that makes me feel very, very happy and very grateful to be able to work for a company like this. And with that said, how have you, I guess, what are some of the things that you've learned throughout your career, maybe some of your experience, that you've been able to implement into your company now that's been able to create this purity, this hardworking but yet kind atmosphere, right? Like, how have you been, like, what are some practical things that you've been able to do to implement that to get these type of results in your staff?
Well, first of all, thank you for noticing that everybody's legitimately, I think, amazing people here, and yourself included.
Thank you.
I think it goes both ways. I get as much energy and motivation from everybody working in the company as I give out myself. And sometimes there are people that join that don't belong, and it's just pretty quickly evident that they're not contributors. They're not. They don't have the same mindset or belief set, and in the sense that I think everybody should just do the right thing, not try to get the fake credit for things that they don't accomplish. It's not about that. But from my point of view, I definitely should always try to have recognition towards hard work, absolutely. But from the other side, it shouldn't be like just showing fake results. It should be real results and looking long term. The short term mindset, I think that's sometimes toxic, and the long term mindset is very healthy.
Yeah.
When people look, what can I do in a year or 2 or 3? That doesn't mean that they're going to be slow getting there, but just at the very onset, looking at the future is very important. When people try to get rich quickly, they lose it quickly as well. But what helped me kind of understand this better, in general, how to manage people and how to deal with people, I think the Judaic teachings, and there's plenty of great examples and teachings that talk about hard work and leadership. One particular example that I love from Pirkei Avot, maybe you've heard this before.
And Pirkei Avot means?
Pirkei Avot, it's Ethics of Our Fathers. It's one of my favorite books.
Same.
It's supposedly like oral laws, but it's not really laws. It's more like suggestions on how do you live your best, how do you live a really healthy lifestyle. Yeah. So one of the quotes there is, it's better to be a tail to the lion than a head to the fox. Mm-hmm. So the way I see that, it doesn't mean that you should not be a leader. So the general interpretation is, it's better to be a follower of a great group than a leader of a small group. So let's say you have 2 communities where you can excel in one and be the leader because by comparison everybody else is a schmuck, and so one interpretation is move to a community that's going to inspire you, even though you're at the very back of it, but you're being inspired by all the lions, by all the great people.
Yeah, I like that.
But there is a second explanation, and I think that's kind of the way I see it, my personal explanation to this verse or this teaching. It both can be the leader. The head to the fox is a leader, and the tail to the lion is the leader. The only difference is when a person is taking credit for all of his employees or all of the people beneath him, he is the head to the fox. He makes everybody else look bad and props him up as the head. The proper leader should be like the tail to the lion. He empowers everybody in front of him to do what they need to do.
I like that.
And he's just following them along with the journey and helping them achieve their success.
That's beautiful.
And I think that's kind of what I try to do. I try not to micromanage anybody. That's how I filter people out. If they cannot manage themselves, it's definitely not a good fit because they don't see that long-term goal. If people have that goal, they will manage themselves and they'll have the honesty and hard work that's required to get there. Because I will not be sitting there keeping people in check. They should be doing that to themselves.
That's great. And I think that really fosters productivity in the workplace when there's not a lot of micromanaging. And I mean, I'm not a fan of it. I've had situations where that is the case. And
I don't think many people are.
Yeah.
There might be some that like to be babysat, but I don't think many people want that.
I agree. It's just not fun. Micromanaging makes me feel like the person can't trust me. It doesn't make me feel like they believe in me. It's like I feel like they want to be in control and kind of confining those people into a little space and not allowing them to really flourish. Like I feel like here, like my wife tells me, she was like, baby, you got the coolest job ever. Because I tell her, I'm like, it's a very chill environment, but I was like, I'm not just here chilling. Like we got stuff to do. We're working. I say, Dmitri's not breathing down my back, and it's just, and that type of vibe makes me want to work harder. It makes me want to grab the vision and to be able to help take it to that next level, right? Because it makes me feel like I'm a part of it,
Well, I think you're perfect for this type of environment.
Thank you. I love being here. Vision. I mentioned vision. If you don't mind, I would love for you to talk about a little bit about just your mission and the vision for this company. What do you see for it? And what does the future look like for 3D Media?
So a little known fact, some people that are very close to me know that the company 3D Media is just a DBA. It's doing business as. Okay. But when I formed the corporation, I named it Kiddush Hashem Inc., which in Hebrew means made the name be sanctified.
Wow, okay.
Which name? Name of God. And what's the point of sanctifying God's name? When you do good deeds to others, you're doing the right, let's say, good type of business. People say, wow, God is good.
Yeah.
He created these people.
Yeah.
It's a shame when people say, oh, God doesn't exist or God is evil because people are killing each other. Why did he create us? And I want to do the exact opposite of that. Like make an environment where people want to praise God, say, thank God, I'm in this community, I'm in this environment, I'm dealing with this business, I'm dealing with this person. So the mission is to change the business world as much as I can. I mean, I don't have much control over things, but what I do have control over is what I do. Yeah. And if what I do is going to be successful, and then people can look back and how did you get there? Do you need to talk trash about your competitors? Do you need to cut corners with your service? Do you need to cheat with your customers? Do you need to be nasty to your employees? Hopefully none of that is going to be true. And certainly I'll make mistakes. Everybody does, but I'm willing to learn from those mistakes. And if I identify that I did something wrong, it's very important to correct that and steer back to that path. Profits are not the most important thing. Money comes, money goes, but I think what stays is a good relationship. I'll just give you an example. I had a customer called me the other day that wasn't particularly happy about something, and I was in the legal right about everything we did. I guess I can be more specific about the situation. We've shot some footage for her video, and part of it was community footage, which normally under our contract and just a very known fact, whenever you're shooting community footage, and this is especially within real estate. So anything in particular to you or the listing that you have, you're supposed to give exclusive rights to that agent. Okay. So no other agent should benefit from that. But if it's, let's say you're shooting a park, nobody should claim exclusive rights to footage of a park. True. Because a lot of agents should be able to use the same footage, and we have that explicitly said in the contract. That makes sense. However, she felt that when she found out that another agent was using footage of the same park that was in her video that was originally shot kind of for her, but not really for her. Okay. She needed that footage. I didn't have it, so I shot it and I put it in her video. She assumed that should belong to her, and it doesn't. But it really bothered her. Mm-hmm. She didn't want another agent to have the exact same footage in the promotional video. And I could have just let it go. Yeah. But I said, I really don't care about the cost if I have to go refilm it to make it right by you. At the end of the day, I want you to feel good. And, you take a small loss, and even though, again, legally I might be in the right, but I feel her pain, even though I think it was maybe my communication in the beginning. I should have explained to her that this would happen. I think it was partly her inexperience with these type of things, ordering videos, etc. But to make things right, just a small example, and there's many of them happening.
That's wonderful.
There's thousands upon thousands of examples where I had to take loss to make a customer feel better. And sometimes I even lost a customer, and I knew I was going to lose them anyways. But I still want to come out of that transaction knowing that I did the right thing.
Yeah.
Because I'm a very strong believer in, God's watching over me. And if he sees that I'm dealing correctly with people, he's going to send me more people to deal with. Because ultimately, the world is his. And he wants to be revealed here, but he gave us the power to do that. That's kind of the one thing that he held back, is he did not want to impose himself on people, so people have freedom of will.
I think that's a beautiful example of someone that is building a business for the right reasons, and you've clearly displayed that, and I know, for those who are listening, I know he's not just saying that just to be saying it. He's shared things like this with me quite a few times, and I think this is why he has a successful business. I think that's why he has a successful business, because he cares about the people. It's about the people, because you can be so money hungry and greedy and all about the profit, and then here's a customer, their heart is hurting, they feel that they're disappointed, and then you're like, all right, I don't care, I got to make this money first, and then you end up losing the customer. You keep doing that, and acting that way, you're not going to have a business, right? You can't have a business by yourself. You need customers. So if you're treating people kind, and you're being considerate, and you're empathetic with people, and you want to see them happy, you're going to have a successful business.
Take it even one notch up, is even if you know you're going to lose the customer, there's always that temptation, I'm going to lose them anyways. Why do I need to give them a concession or a refund or whatever?
Yeah.
Even at that point, you should still do the right thing, because ultimately it's not even about keeping the customer. It's about making God look good. That, people really like feeling that there was true justice, or even beyond justice, there was mercy, and there was. That's kind of what binds people together, removes hate from the world, brings love, brings peace. I think there's lack of that in the world. There's lack of that in the corporate world. There's lack of that in the business world.
100%.
And we need to try our best. Yeah, I mean, can we earn more money by doing not so great things? Yeah, we certainly can. But is that the right thing? Absolutely not. Again, it's not about the money. I once said that I kind of want to run my company with non-profit values, but for profit. Mm-hmm. You can still make a profit doing the right thing. There is a way. There's a way.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. Listen, so since we're on the topic of faith and spirituality, I think it's fitting to go here for a minute. You don't hear business owners, CEOs talking about faith like this. You don't hear. I don't hear it like that. And I love listening to different talks. I love listening to owners and things like that, CEOs, businessmen and women, just so I can kind of just learn, how people think and things like that. I'm very intrigued, fascinated by it. But it seems as if people are scared to talk about God.
We're getting in a controversial topic, and I like it.
Yeah. So
I think
why is that?
Because a lot of businesses are established in, I think, in the Silicon Valley, where there's a lot of sketchy things going on, to say the least.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get into politics just yet. Eventually, I'll talk about politics. But it's beyond politics. I think people try to erase God out of the world and to redefine what's right and wrong.
Okay.
Because some people want to live life according to what they believe is the right thing to do. But there's so much wrong in that. There is a divine set of moral values. And it's been proven over time that those stick. And no matter what changes, like how society changes, some things are going to be right and wrong pretty much forever. And I think there is a big problem with some major corporations, especially in America, that are coming out of San Francisco in particular, that are erasing God, and that's a really bad thing. And not only that, not only are they erasing, they're trying to hire like-minded people and intimidate those not to express their beliefs. And that is just goes against what America stands for. I mean, there's supposed to be freedom of speech in this country.
Yeah.
I came out of communism, out of Russia. I know what it's like not to be able to speak your mind. My family's been persecuted for hundreds of years. I definitely don't want communism to come back. And it seems like there is a lot of that coming back on. And there's this facade that, we're so generous, we're going to do things for everybody, rights for everybody, but it's a facade. It's all designed to make more money one way or another, to influence generation to follow in whatever they want. At the end of the day, it's going to be greed and corruption. And it's very unfortunate, and I hope it changes. I hope it changes at the top levels. People... I mean, I respect people that, let's say, agnostic. You say, I have no proof that God exists. Fine. So that's great. And usually people like that are not going to impose that on others.
Sure.
But if a person says, I know for sure God doesn't exist, and if you challenge that, I'm going to fire you, or you don't belong, I'm never going to hire you, that's a big problem. And I think there's definitely some of that. And it's a big spider web. Like, there's so many other things that are connected to it that goes into politics, goes into lifestyle. It's just a very scary thing.
Are you, well, let me rephrase it. With that being said, you just made it clear that people are, because of this thought process, people don't want to mention God. People are afraid to have or live according to these divine morals that you mentioned. Are you ever worried about having these ideas and that being the foundation of your business? Are you worried about losing customers, losing business, because you have such a different point of view? You hold by a set of different values, which I completely agree with, but there's a lot of people who don't, either they don't agree or they just don't understand, you know?
It's a great question. Certainly there was that fear. I think when I was starting the company, not to talk too much about what I believe in.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I think, you just got to do what you got to do and not worry too much about the consequences. Obviously, I'm not going out there preaching. I'm not teaching anybody religion. But I make things obvious that, I'm a Jew. I'm a religious Jew. I'm not going to interfere with other people's lifestyles.
Okay.
And I think for the most part, people respect the values that I have coming from my religion that I applied to the business, because it ultimately benefits them. They see that they're being dealt with honesty and respect.
Yeah.
And I tend to kind of attract people that respect that. I think ultimately everybody wants that. I wouldn't even imagine anybody that doesn't want to be treated well.
Yeah, of course.
There's nothing in my religion that I don't proselytize. What's the word? Proselytize or whatever. It's none of that. It's literally just, you got to be a good human being and treat others well. That's like the bottom line.
Yeah.
There's that famous story about one person coming to two famous rabbis in the Talmud times, and the one was Shammai, one was Hillel. Shammai was the strict one, and Hillel was the more lenient one. And this person that was not Jewish, he came and said, "Teach me all of your religion." I'm paraphrasing. While I stand on one foot. And he came to the strict one. He says, "Go away. You're making fun of my religion." He came to Hillel and said, "Teach me the same thing." And he says, "Sure. Love your fellow as you love yourself." And everything else is commentary. It didn't exclude all the other things that we have. There's lots of commandments, but at the core of it is you have to treat others well. And there's so many stories and evidence over the history. Like during King David's time, there were even the children knew all the greatest facets of religion, and they were extremely righteous. But yet when they had some kind of a quarrel between themselves, they'd go into battle and they lose the battle. They lost divine assistance. And then there was a king, there was an idol worshiper, King Ahav. And people were all idol worshippers underneath him, not following religions whatsoever. However, the one thing that they kept, they were extremely nice to each other. And they went into battle without casualties. So God doesn't really care sometimes about us being so meticulous about performance of certain commandments if we fail to see that principle of treating others well. And it doesn't mean that we shouldn't do everything else. We should, but it should all lead back to treating others well. There's another great rabbi that I read. His name is Bali Sulam. I forgot Bali Sulam is like a nickname. But he said, the world should kind of stand like a chair. Each leg supports the other three legs. If one of the legs fall, everybody falls. Like we all depend on each other. So try to cheat somebody else, you're going to fall down with them. That's the mindset that's the most important and the most needed in the world. Not to talk negatively about other people, treat everybody well. The differences that people have in their religions and the observance, even within Judaism, there's many different facets of how you do this thing or that thing. They're all important, but if you're not doing the fundamental thing, is not being a good person to other people, then you miss the point.
Beautiful. Beautifully said. I want to talk a little bit more about your company, 3D Media, and then we'll get ready to wrap it up. For people that are watching, they may be interested in wanting to hire 3D Media. So with that being said, what types of clients or industries does your company primarily serve?
As I said at the very beginning, it's been a moving target. Like we've kind of evolved over the years, and started off with realty, with virtual tours. Now we do pretty much every type of media production. We do website development. We do advertising. Kind of, it's become a one-stop shop for businesses not wanting to carry employees like that are going to not be experts in certain fields.
Yeah,
it's very hard to have a team to do all of this, and it's better to outsource it to somebody like us that have the expertise to do photos, video, virtual tours, drone if you need it, commercials, websites, even just consulting on for marketing purposes, branding, logo design. Anything to get you from, basically help you focus on what you do best. If you're a lawyer, go do law. Let us help you promote you and get you leads.
Yeah.
And we try to actually be very careful, strategic who we work with. I don't like to work with just about everybody. The business has to align with our set of values. If I see that they're doing bad to their customers, like bad reviews, for example, I'll politely reject them, and that has happened before.
Wow.
Again, it's not about the money. If I believe in you, if I believe in your business, I will help you promote that and educate others that you exist. But if I see that you're doing shady stuff, I don't want to educate that you exist because I'm doing a disservice. It's not about the money.
It's not about the money.
Yeah.
I think that's great. I think that's great. So it's very selective. You're selective with who you work with.
Right. The other thing is, it's also, I try to focus now more than before with businesses that are ready to be scaled up. They've kind of got their infrastructure together, and all they need is some extra fuel. So they have the truck and they need the fuel to drive the truck.
Okay.
People that are not ready, like I've worked with some where we gave them a lot of leads, a lot of success, but they just couldn't manage it because they're used to working themselves. That's not the right fit, because there's not going to be, will actually overwhelm you with more work that you cannot handle. Ideally, the best would be somebody, let's say, someone that has already employees that needs to feed them, and they need more work, and they will take care of that kind of ecosystem themselves as long as more work is coming their way. That's where I think magic happens with taking companies that did like $200,000 a year on their own to $10 million a year. That has happened several times already. And I think that's, if somebody's kind of ready for that fast growth, they're welcome to come to us, and we'll validate if they're the right fit or not. Again, I definitely don't want to take just about anyone, because also ethically I feel kind of iffy to have multiple businesses compete with each other in the same geographic zone. I try not to have that. So if I already have like a great attorney in one area, I might have 2 or 3 at the very maximum, because there's always going to be enough business for like 2 or 3. But beyond that, they're starting to compete against one another. That's not ideal. In fact, sometimes I put them together to collaborate. That has happened before as well.
That's cool.
Yeah, because when you have 2 like-minded businesses that are kind of built with the same foundation and values, they can collaborate with each other and sometimes trade leads or whatnot.
That makes sense. Like, why compete where you can just work together?
Right. You should be competing against the bad businesses. That's, I think, where competition is very healthy. There's plenty of bad business practice out there, terrible business practice out there. And those are the people that I fight wars against on behalf of my clients.
Wow.
Yeah. We want to get those people out. The ones that are cheating, their customers, they're the ones that are doing bad work. They don't belong. They can always change, but until they change, they need to be pushed out in the best way possible economically.
Yeah.
Economy rewards the ones that are doing great work.
You said it earlier, Dmitry, that you want to change the business world, and I think I know because I'm on the team, and I hear your mindset, I hear your heart, I watch you do what you say every day. And I believe that that's why you are going to be a major catalyst for change in the business world. And I just want to let you know I'm on board 100% to help you do that. 100%.
I appreciate it.
It's needed. It's needed in the business world, and we need more lights. We need more people that actually care about people, because I think that's really what causes companies to last for not just decades, but centuries to come.
For sure. So going back to, I think, one of the questions that you asked, what's going to be the long-term thing where 3D Media is headed? Actually, I don't know if I want to answer that.
Okay, no problem.
Because there's a lot of great things that are going to happen. I do have a roadmap for them. But I sometimes go with the flow. Things change, and one of the greatest advices I can give just about to any other business owner is be flexible. Mm-hmm. Because sometimes you think this is what you need to do and you end up doing something else entirely.
That's a fact.
Yeah, you have to be able to pivot. But if I'm going to summarize, at least, our goal is to, from business perspective, is to create a platform that will allow a good business to jump in and be successful almost immediately. That's kind of like turnkey. They figure out how to be an expert in your field, figure out how to build a team, and then just come to us. And then we'll feed you and we'll promote you and we'll have that partnership. A lot of the times they say it's a partnership. It's not like you hired us. We became partners together, because when you grow, we grow, and it's truly a partnership. And also, I don't like to say customers. I like to say friends. It ends up building bonds and long-lasting friendships with people, become like family. And again, just like with employees too, some businesses don't work out sometimes. Different mindsets, but that's part of life. Ultimately, we try to filter out the gems, sift through all the noise and find those gems, and then those gems really shine. Yeah, we have some amazing friends, customers, like truly amazing people, and they're doing great work, and I'm really grateful to work with them. And I think over the time, hopefully throughout this podcast, we'll invite them, have them talk, because they're real experts in their fields, and they have a lot to offer. I think anything we can do to help them be out in the world and share their opinion is a great thing.
Great. What is the best place or the best way for people to find you?
Online. 3dmedia.com. Number 3 spelled out. THRAE_D media.com.
Amazing.
Yeah. Before we end the podcast, I think we talked a lot about me, about the company, and we kind of failed to talk about you in general. And I know that you wanted to talk about that as well, how it feels like to transition from what you've been doing before to doing this now and finding the balance. How you've been liking it so far?
It's been good. It feels very natural. It feels very natural to be here, to be working in the social media space, because this has been where I've lived for the past couple of years now, and it's excuse me, and it's really been cool, because it's like I've been going from kind of level to level, and each level requires me to learn a set of new skills, though. Here, this company is having me stretch a little bit more, which is beautiful, which I need. And you've also given me the room to grow. You give me the flexibility, but you've also gave me that level of leadership too, to where I feel that you're trusting me to kind of lead in a particular area. And that really meant a lot to me. It really meant a lot to me, because I do love to lead. I love new projects. I love new projects. I love when somebody gives me something to say, hey, this is kind of like your baby, like figure it out, build on it, make it grow. And I think that's where I work really, really well. Is I love the beginning stages of different projects and different ideas, and to be able to step back and say, wow, I can actually see it growing because of the steps that I've been able to implement. Same thing as me, like a dancer. I love the beginning stages of creating choreography, because there's nothing there until it goes into your mind. Like the movements has to start in your mind. And so I can see the finished product before I actually start teaching it. And so once I start teaching the dance moves, the choreography, to see kids and adults and people to start doing those different things, and to see the finished product come and grow together, I step back and I'm like, dang, that's pretty cool, So the transition here has been great. I'm excited to come alongside of your vision to help you to help you do whatever you want to do in this business, to help you grow. And I'm in alignment with your set of values. And so I'm having a good time here.
Yeah, I think you jumped in really well. And I do think that what you've been doing before with your social media is really great.
Thank you.
I think you've learned a lot of skills there, and it's important. I'm sure you've noticed how we've kind of transitioned the moment you joined to different responsibilities, and still kind of trying to find your perfect footing.
Sure.
And it's going to evolve. That's
Sure.
part of the fun part. But I think it's more or less, I mean, we've got to this stage where you've organized the podcast. It's beautiful. You've been doing great things with our social media page. And it's, I'd say, I give you a criticism. I'm never going to be like, oh, everything's perfect. No. But for the most part, I am impressed that most of the things that you do, I'm like, it's like 99% there or 95% there. That's a big compliment. Trust me.
Awesome. Thank you.
I'm rarely like that, and it's genuine. I'm like you're a great addition to our team. I'm super stoked. Super excited. But I definitely want to hear about your social media page, that journey. I think all the things that you've learned there are amazing set of skills. It's not easy to do what you did, to be in front of thousands of people, to talk in front of camera, to open up, to be genuine, to be self-motivated, because it's easy to give up. And I want to hear some of that as well.
Yeah, it was...
Like, what made you think, you know what, I'm going to start a blog? Yeah.
me and my wife, we were hesitant at first because we are in the middle of an Orthodox Jewish conversion. And we were like, if we start talking about this journey right now, people are probably not going to take us serious. And we were also considering like, okay, well, we want to also make sure that we don't do anything that could cause that could be like a stumbling block also in our journey. And so,
did it take off right away, like when you started making videos?
It did surprisingly. So
I'm not surprised.
Yeah. So I think
it's just the two of you have great personalities. They're like boom.
Thank you. You know, so we started off just talking about marriage. My wife and I, we love marriage and family and all those things. And so we weren't really consistent with that. And we would put a video out here and then we'll put it out here. But then on Instagram, we did on YouTube, but on Instagram, people started liking it. And so we started getting some pretty good consistency there. And then we had baby number 5. We got 6 babies, so I lose track. We had baby number 5, and that slowed us down a little bit. And a little bit after that, we spoke with somebody online, one of our friends, and they were like, when it comes to content, have you guys ever thought about sharing your actual conversion journey? And we were like, we thought about it, but this is why, what I shared earlier. And she was like, well, if that's something that you guys would be interested in, me and my husband, we think that it'll be something that people will really, really enjoy. And so we thought about it, and we said, okay, let's do it. November of last year, 2022, we put out a video, our very first video, of just kind of us saying, this is what we're doing. We're on a journey, we're converting, boom. And a month, 30 days, actually it was 28 days. 28 days after that, we went from, it was like 200 on YouTube, 200 subscribers to maybe about 1,500 subscribers in 28 days. And
wow.
And that video is like our biggest video. It's like 60,000 views right now. And we just kept going, kept putting out videos, building an online community. And now it's almost about 8,000 subscribers on YouTube now, 17,000 on Instagram. And we're very, very grateful of where it's going.
What's your vision?
The vision is to elevate the family unit. That's what we want to do. Me and my wife, we're very big on family. Just how, you want to be a catalyst for change in the business industry. We want to be a catalyst for change, for the home, because everything starts at home. Everything starts at home. You can't be a successful businessman if you don't have a successful marriage. Everything starts in the home. Your marriage is strong, your whole life is strong. And that's what we want to do. We want to show that family is beautiful. There's so many examples that are not good in the industry when it comes to family. What does that model family look like, in the media, right? Well, it's not there, right? Of what media is projecting or portraying, it's not there. And those things frustrate us a lot, that they're pushing certain ideas and certain values. And we like, the reason that things bother us is because we were meant to do something about it. And so that's what me and my wife want to do. I have a background in the entertainment industry, so I know what it's like. And so we want to really, really show what does it look like to have a successful home. That's our vision.
That's awesome. I mean, you guys have a very beautiful family.
Thank you.
6 kids. That's for me, the more children, the more respect I have for you.
Thank you.
I'm at 4 right now, and I know how challenging 4 is. 6, whew, yeah.
Yeah, man.
But I couldn't agree with you more that marriage and home is the most probably important thing in life.
Yep.
And the unfortunate reality is people are chasing education and other things and not learning how to be a father,
yep,
a wife, a husband, a parent, a son, a daughter.
Yep.
Like those family dynamics are extremely important. That's where I think religion is really important. And funny enough, I think most religions cover that topic quite well. I do respect most religious people. I really honestly can say I don't care what religion you are. If you have some set of values that help you become, because those are more universal things.
Yeah.
That's beyond differences in cultures and religion. I think most people understand, because the moment you recognize God is your ultimate parent.
Yep.
So your relationship with him has to reflect your relationship with your children, with your spouse, and so on and so forth. So, like, it just shocks me that today, especially women, unfortunately, are brainwashed to go put education above family values in life. And there's very little, like, the mother is the most central unit in the family.
Central.
The most important person. She's the CEO of the house.
100%.
And how many women today take any classes on how to be a mother? Same thing for men. I'm not discounting men.
I get it.
How many men are taking classes on how to be a father?
Yeah.
It's like, before you go out into college, think maybe how are you going to start a proper home and a relationship.
That's a fact, man.
We should have education. Like, why colleges don't have a course on family life? It's just the most basic things.
It's crazy. It's crazy. My wife said it. She has a video somewhere where she said, why is it so much easier to go out and get a driver's license than it is? No, why is it so much easier to go out and get a marriage license than it is to get a driver's license? Before you get on the road, you got to pass a test. It's very extensive to get a driver's license. You got to take a written test. You got to take a driver's exam. If you fail the exam, you're not getting a license. You can't drive. Marriage license, you just show up at the courthouse and you got a marriage license. You know what I mean? And it's our ideals and the values is just so crazy. Like, you're right, man. Like, I wish that was a thing. Part of college curriculum is learning the values of how to build a family. The incarceration rate, one of the main reasons, it was a study or a stat that I read a long time ago. The majority of the young men that were locked up was because they didn't have fathers. And that really, really hit home. That was some years ago. And I'm like, wow, they come from just single parent homes. It was just the mom raising those boys. you know, and obviously, you know, that's not the case. And I have a lot of respect for the single moms and single parents and things, right? But it was just that stat of the majority of that group of young men coming in at that particular time came from single parent homes. The dad wasn't in their life, you know, and obviously unfortunate things happen and things like that. But man, that is what my goal is. I want to be present. I want to be available. I want to be there. I want to show my kids. I got 2 boys. I got 4 girls. I want to show my boys what it looks like to be a man. How do you, you know, like my sons, the first thing they're going to know about how to treat their future spouse is from what they see their dad doing.
100%.
My girls, their first idea, right? My oldest daughter, she's 15. Her first date was with her dad. It's with me, right? Meaning I take her out, right? I'm giving her the example. I'm showing her the example of what to expect. It's what to expect, right? This is the foundation. And now it's so refreshing. It's so beautiful because she has conversations with my wife. She has the most beautiful relationship with her mother, and I'm so grateful. And my wife tells me things like, you know, wow. She's like, babe, you don't have anything to worry about with her because her mindset is so strong. And she says things like, you know what? I want my husband to be like my dad.
Nice.
For her to say that,
you bring the bar up,
dude.
It's gonna be hard.
Yeah. Oh, and it's so cool to hear that, like and for that to really come from a genuine place. And she's not saying that because, you know, I'm there or whatever, but she's like, no, I see the way that my dad treats you, Mom. I see how he opens the door for you. I see how he talks to you. He doesn't yell at you. You know what I mean? I see how much every day he tells you that he loves you. Right? As a matter of fact, at 1:45 in my phone right now, every single day, right, it says, tell your wife that you love her.
Nice.
And I've had that in there for I don't know how many years, you know? So it starts in the home.
I think when the home is peaceful and the home is whole, then everything else just falls together.
That's it.
Just falls in place, and the whole life is structured well. And then that goes into business, and just everything is interconnected.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I am impressed and also inspired by what you do. I think it's very important. And I hope you continue, and I wish you much success in that.
Thank you very much.
And I hope you're able to manage the 2 things at the same time.
Thank you. Thank you. Only with God's help.
God willing.
Only with God's help. So, wow, this was a very, very beautiful conversation. And I'm so excited. I'm so excited for what's to come.
Yeah, many more to come.
Many more to come.
We'll cover different topics.
Lots of different topics. I mean, we touched on a lot of different things, you know, and so just imagine when we just have an episode just for like one topic, you know, of how much we can just kind of cover. And but I really, really enjoyed this time with you, Dmitry, and thank you for that. Thank you for sharing your mind, sharing your life, your experiences, your thoughts with all of the listeners out there, and it's going to be a good thing.
Thank you as well. I'd like one day for us to have also live audience, where they can ask questions and we can talk.
Great idea.
I think one of the things that's missing in today's society is that ability to collaborate ideas, ask questions, challenge, discuss, debate. Everything's being silenced and everything's being like isolated in 2 camps. You're either this way or that way. It shouldn't be that way. I think whether you're on the right side in politics, on the left, whether you're religious, you're not religious, should always be an opportunity to talk, ask questions, and if you're wrong, you're wrong, and find the truth. That's like seek the truth. Yeah. Look for the truth, and then be comfortable with whatever that means. Yeah. And I really hope that's kind of going to be the outcome of this podcast, is you find truth in just about anything. Yeah. I think both you and I were on the same journey in life. In general, is like I wasn't always religious, I had to find religion too. And it's just seeking truth and being open-minded, I think is very important. So I really do hope that we can also inspire people to talk and not be afraid to ask questions, not to be afraid to express your opinion, and not to judge others on their opinion. We can judge actions, but not people. And some
Agreed.
people are wrong, and some people make mistakes, and ultimately give people benefit of the doubt.
Agreed.
So give us benefit of the doubt. If we say
Please.
some controversial things here, don't delete us. Just give us time. We'll figure it out.
And then put your thoughts, right? Share your concerns in the comments. Leave your comments. Talk to us. Communicate with us. If you're watching this, maybe you're watching this clip on Instagram somewhere, or you see this clip on TikTok or YouTube, whatever the platform is, leave a comment. Share your thoughts. Share your ideas.
For sure.
Do you agree with what we said? Do you disagree? It's all good.
And tell us which topics do you want us to cover.
Yeah.
I mean, this has kind of been, it's going to be a moving target for us. We're going to be learning as much as we're talking.
Yep.
We're going to be learning in the process.
That's right. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And please don't forget, turn on your notifications. But before you do that, you got to subscribe. So if you enjoy this content, this conversation, these ideas, if you enjoy what 3D media is all about, then please consider subscribing. And then turn on your notifications so that you can always be in the loop and you can be in the know whenever we put out a new video.
Whatever he said.
Have a good one, guys.
Bye.